All right, overseas now. Let's get into that state media issue out of Iran. The president, Ebrahim Raisi, has been declared dead along with the foreign minister after a helicopter they were travelling in crashed in a mountainous region in Iran's northwest. Raisi was travelling with the foreign minister when officials say the aircraft was forced to make a hard landing due to dense fog. That's certainly what the pictures were showing us. I saw a little bit earlier in the day when they went to the crash site. Let's get some detail, though. Founder and Director of Strategic Analysis Australia, Michael Shoebridge. Well, Michael, as I said, the official line out there was this forcing down of the aircraft was due to fog, had a hard landing. You know, there's been no survivors, we're told. Do you think this is accurate? Do you think this is accurate and that there's nothing else more sinister at play?
Well, Peter, I don't think it's accurate because I don't think it had a hard landing. I think it had what is technically known as a crash. They flew the helicopter into a mountain in atrocious weather where they couldn't see where they were going. The Iranians have done this all by themselves. So they may stoke rumours about other people, but they put their president and their foreign minister in an old helicopter, flew it when they couldn't see where they were going into a mountain. It's simple.
All right, talk to me then about the leadership structure here, because remind me, but as I understand it, you've got the supreme leader, the Ayatollah, he's number one, most senior political figure. This is the president, number two, influential and important. What happens now? Is there like convulsions in their political system? Will there be an orderly transition? Take us through what happens.
Well, this will be a huge shock because President Raisi was the half-anointed successor for the 85-year-old current Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. So his loss will shock the Iranian system. What happens now is the senior vice president will step up temporarily as acting president, and they'll hold a rigged election within 50 days. And there's no doubt that only a hardliner that does exactly what Supreme Leader Khamenei wants will get the job. So I think the Supreme Leader really let the cat out of the bag before he even knew the President and Foreign Minister were dead when he said there'll be no interruption to how Iran is governed because he's the autocrat.
So how does this all play out in relation to the Gaza war? Because we know Iran's heavily involved with Hamas. What happens there?
Well, personal relationships between Hamas and Hezbollah and the Iranian regime really matter, and President Raisi had those relationships. Hamas has expressed great concern when they heard about the crash. They will actually see this as a setback, but the relationship between Iran, Hamas and Hezbollah is deep, and I think we'll see the Iranians try to just get on with business. But it does really put a crack on the professionalism of the Iranian government to put their president and foreign minister in this old helicopter and fly it into a mountain.
Well, let's come back home now. This new report out today that the government's plan to extend the life of the ageing Collins class, which we need to, given we haven't got the Virginia class and then obviously the Australian-built submarines on the horizon any time soon. We're told this is a high-risk endeavour. What are the concerns?
Well, the big issues are crewing, but also when you're trying to upgrade these Collins-class submarines, their hulls are in pretty good shape because they haven't done a lot of diving, but you've got to scoop out everything inside them, the sonars, the combat system, the electronics, the propulsion system, put a new submarine inside the old shell. That's extremely complicated, very technically high risk and crazily expensive, in addition to all the money going on the nuclear submarines. And Defence has been putting off announcing what they're going to do because I think the enormity of the task is really coming home. There's a risk we'll have to retire the Collins before we've got decent Virginia numbers.
That is the reality, isn't it?
Yes, and it's almost inescapable because aside from having to put a new submarine in the old Collins shells, the Virginia-class submarines eat 3 Collins crews per submarine. So even if you can refurbish the submarine, the Navy will probably cannibalise itself to put people in the Virginias.
Just staying with national security, if I can, we talked about this Future Made in Australia plan from the government, $1 billion to a US-based firm for quantum computing. Plenty of analysis out today saying if the Albanese government only invests in Quantum, this is the US-based firm, $1 billion that they'll receive, and if they don't invest in any other options, we're putting a lot of eggs in this basket. There's a national security concern, they say.
Well, the problem here is that the Albanese government is pretending it's Warren Buffett or the world's most successful venture capitalist investor. So they've made an all-in bet on one quantum company. They've made another bet on a Sydney program with Michelle Simmons. But these are very early investments. I just don't think the government knows enough to pick a winner.
Yeah, well, I think we agree with that. Michael Shoebridge, thank you as always.